This video is not meant as an accusation. Maybe the person who sent it to you meant it as such, but I don't. It's also a bit of self-righteous preaching while I'm in between making proper content. Here's the thing, right? There's all this very heavy and meaning-laden, maybe even epic talk about this huge war of ideas. That we're fighting the war of ideas. We're fighting the war of ideas against the SJWs and the Nazis and the MRAs and whoever's side you're on. Whatever you're doing, whichever part of the war you are fighting. It sounds very pompous to me personally, but I do have to admit that it is absolutely correct, right? I mean, there's not really any risk of dying. I mean, unless you're a cartoonist who, let's not get into that. The point is, I do think it's a very good term to describe what we're doing here, right? We're going out into the trenches almost every day, not just as content creators. Very few content creators actually watch this channel, so they're not gonna see this video. What I mean is, all of the people who are on Facebook and private, on Twitter, on the chances. The war of ideas doesn't really happen on the chance, does it? The point is, we are actually fighting a war because there's real things on the line, there's real people on the other side, and everyone is kind of fighting everyone, so it's a very messy type of war, right? And another major distinction that the war of ideas has between like a real war with guns and bullets is that you don't fight the war of ideas with a general. The war of ideas isn't fought by soldiers, it's fought by warriors, by people who make their own decisions. They may follow a leader for a time, but that is because they agree with the leader's policy. When you started out here, which may have been some time ago, you were at some point on the battlefield being an analogy for the political spectrum, right? Or for the world. The world of the battlefield of ideas, let's say. By the way, I'm just rambling this. Usually I script my videos. This might turn out to be really bad. So you're on one point of this battlefield, and you decide, well, this is the other point where I want to go. And so you kind of look for a path, but it's pretty pointless because, this is a war zone and you're gonna get interference from everywhere and you can't really foresee where the battle will take you. So as you make your journey to this other point, you can't keep your eyes fixed on the destination because you need to look on the ground, right? Because the ground is full of rocks and landmines and bear traps. If you don't keep your eyes on the ground, you're gonna fall over and you're gonna be fucking killed. That's how you die in the war of ideas. So if you're now a soldier in a regular battlefield, you can do the same thing. You can keep your eyes on the perimeter and on the ground, and your general is going to tell you where to go. However, if you're a warrior in the war of ideas, you do also always need to keep your eyes on the destination. And it's very easy to lose track of that when you need to keep them on the ground instead. This might be a very clunky metaphor, I'm thinking at this point. But fuck it. The problem with keeping your eyes on the ground, of course, is that you might lose sight of the path you're walking and thus never arrive at your destination. And as you keep on walking, you never think, hey, I should be here. Or maybe the destination wasn't even a firm location, but just a general direction that you wanted to go. Because you thought, this is where I am needed. This is where my ideas are needed. But eventually, you're not even moving there anymore. You're moving somewhere else. You're located somewhere else entirely, where you didn't want to end up in the first place, but you never noticed because you were too busy surviving on the battlefield. So this is, just for you, I'd like you to do this. This probably sounds preachy and bullshit and all this, but just take a moment, right? Stop fighting for a second, because that is a luxury that we kind of have in the war of ideas, right? Stop fighting for just a second. And by a second, I mean a day or so, right? And look up. Look around you, right? Scan your perimeter. Keep your eyes off the ground for just a couple of hours. And think about where you are. Is this where you wanted to go in the first place? Is this on the path of where you wanted to go in the first place? If it's not, do you still want to go to that original location? Or are you happier with where you are now? Or do you have a new destination set for yourself? Look at the hill you are standing on and think about whether or not this is the hill you would also want to die on. Just try to orient yourself on where you are located on the battlefield of ideas. This, by the way, is not. I'm not saying you should go to this point. You should do this political direction, right? Just where did you want to go? Where do you want to go now? And are you going there? Or maybe are you already there? That might also be a thing. Who knows? If you're unhappy with your situation, find the place you wanted to go in the first place, or find a new place where you actually want to go to, and then take the path on again. And maybe in a year watch this video again. This is gonna be an extra click for me, innit? So I mean, you know, if I'm still allowed on YouTube next year. This is really just like a short thing where I'm telling you, mate, just take a step back for a second and look where you are. Is this where you want to be? Are you at an ideological position that you agree with yourself on? Are you at an ideological position where you would have agreed with yourself on in the past? Just, you know, take a break. Take a break, because if you don't, you might just run and never really know where you are, because you can't afford to look up at the sky and think. See, that just, again, turned into some preachy metaphor bullshit, isn't it? I don't know, man. This is just... I just don't have content right now. I have content in the works, but I just need to upload videos to this channel so YouTube doesn't kill it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Do feel free to do whatever you want with this video. Actually, do send it to people. And treat it as life advice. This doesn't have to be about the battle of ideas. This battlefield could easily be life, right? Are you still on the path of where you wanted to go in life, or do you maybe want to go somewhere else, right? This is a very versatile metaphor that you can use for any number of applications, right? So make use of it, and have a nice day.